Next, on this special edition of Currents News, a former top Vatican official is making serious accusations against Pope Francis. Plus, a recap of the Pope's historic two-day trip to Ireland, beginning with the Pontiff's meeting with the Irish President and the Prime Minister. The trip was part of the World Meeting of Families. In a stadium with over 80,000 faithful, the Holy Father celebrated a festival of families. Amid moments of joy, times of peacefulness and prayer, Pope Francis visits the shrine to Our Lady of Knock. The news starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz Faublas. Welcome to this special edition of Currents News. Tonight, a look at the historic journey of Pope Francis to Ireland and the World Meeting of Families, and also the controversy swirling around the trip. An unsubstantiated attack against Francis that he knew about clerical sex abuse but didn't act. On the flight home from Ireland, the Holy Father called on journalists to pursue the truth. Michelle Powers reports.
On the final day of Pope Francis's trip to Ireland, as he issued this apology for clerical sex abuse,
Pedimos perdón, we ask for forgiveness.
A former top Vatican diplomat claimed in a published statement that the Holy Father actually covered up abuses and called for him to resign. On the papal plane, reporters pressed the Pope on the issue.
Io ho letto questa mattina quel comunicato. Ho letto e io dirò sinceramente che devo dirvi questo, a lei e a tutti coloro di voi che sono interessati. Leggete voi attentamente il comunicato e fate voi il vostro giudizio. Io non dirò una parola su questo.
The unsubstantiated allegations come from the pen of Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, the former papal nuncio to the United States. Vigano accuses the Pope of knowing about the now disgraced Cardinal Theodore McCarrick's abuses against seminarians. The former diplomat's charges contend the pontiff did not punish the cardinal, but instead lifted sanctions previously imposed by Pope Benedict, thereby empowering McCarrick to help choose powerful American bishops. Vigano alleges Pope Francis knew from at least June 23, 2013, that McCarrick was a serial predator. Although he knew that he was a corrupt man, he covered for him to the bitter end. It was only when he was forced by the report of the abuse of a minor, again on the basis of media attention, that he took action regarding McCarrick to save his image in the media. The 7,000-word statement went on to attack Francis's allies in the Vatican and was published by several conservative Catholics at odds with the Pope. The Holy Father urged reporters to do their due diligence and report back.
È un atto di fiducia. Quando passi un po' il tempo e voi avete le conclusioni, forse parlerò, ma io vorrei che la vostra maturità professionale faccia questo lavoro.
Pope Francis also brought up his time spent with survivors of the Irish sex abuse scandal, saying he learned much from their testimonies.
Credo che ci voleva fare questo ascolto a queste 8 persone e di questa riunione è uscita la proposta che l'ho fatta io, loro l'hanno accettato e mi hanno aiutato a farla, di chiedere perdono oggi nella messa.
Archbishop Vigano doesn't have an untarnished record when it comes to cover-ups. A memo that he wrote in 2014 reveals an effort to suppress a church investigation into alleged sexual misconduct in the Minnesota Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis. Since Pope Francis removed Vigano from his job as nuncio to the United States in 2016, the Archbishop's been associated with traditionalist Catholics who are often deeply critical of the Holy Father's pastoral approach to the papacy. Michelle Powers, Currents News.
Currents News and Crux joined forces to bring you in-depth live coverage of the Holy Father's two-day trip, and Pope Francis hit the ground running. Landing in Dublin Saturday morning, the pontiff met with the Irish president and the prime minister. Here's a video recap of those meetings.
e mi auspicio che la gravità degli scandali, degli abusi che hanno fatto emergere le mancanze di tanti serva a sottolineare l'importanza della protezione di minori e adulti vulnerabili da parte dell'intera società.
In the afternoon, Pope Francis visited a day center for homeless families. The Pope greeted needy men, women, and children of all ages at the Capuchin Day Center in Dublin. He would later offer them a blessing and give the Capuchin brothers running the center an image of St. Francis. Earlier in the week, Currents News' Michelle Powers visited the center and spoke to the brothers about their work for the hundreds of homeless in Ireland.
When the Capuchin Day Center behind me opened 50 years ago, it would only feed 50 people a day. But as depression hit Ireland, the need grew, and so did the center. When money's tight and rent needs to be paid, food is usually the first thing that gets cut.
People that pass through here every day, 1,000.
Brother Sean Donahoe says the growl of a hungry stomach is heard often at the Capuchin Day Center in the middle of Dublin. Since the economic boom known as the Celtic Tiger in the 1990s and its dramatic reversal in 2008, the demand for meals has grown threefold.
We don't ask any questions. Everybody is welcome.
We chose to keep the identity of the center's clients protected, as many did not want to appear on camera. For some, needing help to put a meal on the table is not something they're used to. Although Ireland stands as one of the most food-secure countries in the world, Dublin is experiencing a new food poor, meaning some people may have a house and a home, but their fridge is left empty.
Rental sector in Dublin is very expensive. So if people fall out of that, it's very hard to get back into it, and people find themselves on the streets.
Eugene Ryder has volunteered at the center for almost 20 years. He says he's never been busier, as the need has never been greater.
You could see that they'd lost their job. They probably hadn't told their wives or their husbands that they had no job, and so they were coming in here all dressed up as if they were going to work.
When the brothers first founded the facility half a century ago, they only fed 50 people a day.
We now do about 300 breakfasts every morning. We do between 600 and 700 dinners every day.
But this Saturday, they'll need to feed one extra mouth, a plate for a pope.
Archbishop approached us one day, came here one day and told us the Pope wants to come here. So,
Brother Sean says the upcoming visit has given his clients a sense of hope, something else they hunger for.
our clients don't tend to think of tomorrow or next week, or it's to live on a daily basis. It's given them huge self-esteem.
On Saturday, when the Pope arrives, Father Sean says not only will the people here have their bellies full, but so will their hearts. Michelle Powers, back to you guys in the studio.
Now, of course, the Pope visited Ireland to celebrate family life, and at Croke Park Stadium in Dublin, over 80,000 people joined the Holy Father for a festival of families. The 2-hour celebration included music, dancing, spoken word. Here are some of the highlights from that joyous occasion.
La Chiesa è la famiglia dei figli di Dio, una famiglia in cui si gioisce con quelli che sono la gioia e si piange con quelli che sono nel dolore o si sentono buttati a terra della vita.
There's a lot more news headed your way on this special edition of Currents News. The Pope makes a pilgrimage to the Blessed Mother. At the shrine of Our Lady of Knock, he asks Mary for a special intercession. We recap for you the best moments of the Holy Father's trip to Ireland, from moments of joy to moments of quiet prayer. Watch the historic trip of Pope Francis to the World Meeting of Families. And do you have a story idea, something happening in your parish we should know about? Because we want to hear from you. Keep this email handy, newstips@desalesmedia.org. We will be right back as this special edition of Currents News continues. Welcome back to this special edition of Currents News. During his two-day trip in Ireland, Pope Francis made a small pilgrimage to the place of a popular devotion, the Shrine of Our Lady of Knock. There, the Pope took time to talk to the Blessed Mother. Here's a video recap of that visit.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Patri, Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen. Earlier in the week, pilgrims from the Brooklyn Diocese visited the shrine to celebrate the anniversary of the Marian apparition. Among them was Currents News' Tim Harfman, who explains the history of the popular Marian devotion.
As the song goes, there were people of all ages gathered round a gable wall, and pilgrims from the Brooklyn Diocese gathered with hundreds of other Catholics on the anniversary of the apparitions here at the Shrine of Our Lady of Knock, and just days before Pope Francis arrives in Ireland. It's believed that a miracle took place on these grounds. The Blessed Virgin Mary appeared in 1879. Catholics commemorate the anniversary with a procession and Mass.
I was truly impressed with the spirituality and the presence and respect. It was just a very moving experience.
Over a century ago, the Blessed Mother appeared with St. Joseph and St. John the Evangelist at this gable wall. 15 people gathered and prayed the rosary in the rain, but not a single drop hit the visions. Worshippers continue to gather today to venerate the gable wall and pray through the intercession of the Blessed Mother under the title of Our Lady of Knock.
She's a mother to the world, and people see her as their mother in different titles, and she's just very spiritual to us.
The Knock Shrine is one of many stops Pope Francis will make when he visits Ireland this weekend. The purpose of his journey is to attend the World Meeting of Families. It's the largest gathering of Catholic families and will focus on the theme of the common home. The pontiff is scheduled to spend an hour at the shrine Sunday morning, first to pray silently in the chapel, then lead worshipers in prayer. This will be the second time a pope visits the shrine. St. John Paul II celebrated Mass for over 400,000 worshipers in 1979. But regardless if a pope visits the site, the Knock Shrine remains a popular place for pilgrims devoted to the Blessed Mother.
We go to her to ask for guidance, just like we do with our moms. So she's the ultimate mother.
And although pilgrims from the Brooklyn Diocese won't see the Holy Father here, they'll be with him at the vigil in Crow Park on Saturday and at the closing mass in Phoenix Park on Sunday. In Ireland, Tim Harfman, Currents News.
Still to come on this special edition of Currents News, a full recap of the Holy Father's trip to Ireland. We highlight for you all the important events during Pope Francis's time at the World Meeting of Families. We will be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to this special edition of Currents News. We were live all weekend covering the Pope's trip to Ireland, and there were a lot of memorable moments during Pope Francis's visit. Here are some highlights of his trip.
Carnegie, on!
È il mio auspicio che la gravità degli scandali, degli abusi che hanno fatto emergere le mancanze di tanti serva a sottolineare l'importanza della protezione di minori e adulti vulnerabili da parte dell'intera società. Nessuna famiglia può crescere se dimentica le proprie radici. I bambini non crescono nell'amore se non imparano a comunicare con i loro nonni. Dunque lasciate che il vostro amore affondi radici profonde. Mary, Mother and Wife, pray for us.
Any of you, if you have an enemy
O qualcuno che non lo voglia bene,
or someone you don't like very much,
mettalo nel cuore,
put them also into your heart now,
così riceverà la
so
benedizione.
that
di
they
Dio.
will also receive this blessing I'm going to give.
God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
La Chiesa è la famiglia dei figli di Dio, una famiglia in cui si gioisce con quelli che sono la gioia e si piange con quelli che sono nel dolore o si sentono buttati a terra della vita. chiedo alla nostra Madre Beata di intercedere per tutte le persone sopravvissute di abusi di qualsiasi tipo e di confermare ogni membro della famiglia cristiana nel risoluto proposito di non permettere mai più che queste situazioni accadano. Pedimos perdón.
We ask forgiveness for the times that, as a church, we did not show the survivors of whatever kind of abuse compassion and the seeking of justice and truth through concrete actions. We ask for forgiveness.
Ogni nuovo giorno nella vita delle nostre famiglie e ogni nuova generazione porta con sé la promessa di una nuova Pentecoste.
It is with great joy to announce to the whole world that the Holy Father has decided that the next World Meeting of Families will be held in Rome.
Oh, that is certainly a trip we will be talking about for years to come. A special thank you to my co-host this weekend, our partners at Crux and the Currents News team for their hard work during this coverage. That is the special edition of Currents News for you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Liz Faublas. Please set your DVR to record this program so that you never miss it, because we are putting your faith in the news. I hope to see you again next time.